All right, let's get things kicked off here in week 11. And we have the Bears and the Falcons right now. The Falcons are 3-point, a juiced 3 at some shops, still some flat 3s out there. 3-point home favorite over the Bears. 49.5 is your total in this one. Adam, whenever we take a look, we've been talking about this for the last couple of weeks here on the pod. And listen, this is not to just pat ourselves on the back, but we've been pretty good with the, hey, this Bears team has turned into a dead over team. That said, this 49.5 total, the market has finally caught up. And this Falcons offense, while it was efficient at the beginning of the season, has certainly been anything but here over the last several weeks of the season. And I wonder if the adjustment has gone too far in the direction of this Bears being a dead over team.
The adjustment has gone too far in the direction of this Bears team being a dead over, without question. I do like under in this game. Under 50 is actually what I have. And you look at these two teams and you realize that if they're going to move the ball, they're going to move the ball on the ground. And we talked about it previously when we talked about the Cleveland Browns and said, don't be scared of overs when it comes to a rushing team. Be a little more scared of overs when it comes to 2 rushing teams. And when it comes to 2 rushing teams where by the pace stats, when either one of them gets a lead, they sit on the football. They are both bottom 4 in the NFL in pace when either one of them has a touchdown lead, which you assume someone will at some point during this game. So, you know, you talk about the efficiency, and the efficiency for both of them is much more when Justin Fields is moving on the ground, when Marcus Mariota has the running game moving with Cordero Patterson, Tyler Algier, Caleb Huntley. So now you look at this game and say, okay, I don't want to get involved with the side. I understand why this game is down to around a 3-point spread because these two teams really are not all that far apart, with the exception of if Fields can make some big plays. But I'm with you that I think the adjustment has gone too far. I'm wary of 2 running teams and either one of them not really having the ability to chase if they have to chase by throwing the football.
It looks like A.J. Terrell is going to be back out there. I mean, listen, he hadn't been great this season for the Falcons, but at least there is a corner that'll be out there that has a pulse. So that's at least another thing that I think leans towards an underlook as well. Steven, I actually am on the Bears in this thing plus 3.5. This thing did get to 3.5 earlier in the week, and I went ahead and took the 3.5 in this, in a game in which, kind of like Adam mentioned, I just don't think that this is going to be played at margin. I think that, you know, we're still dealing with 2 pretty bad teams, and I think that people have gotten a little too quick in all of this to say, hey, Justin Fields is much better. No, the play calling is much better and the utilization of Justin Fields is much better, but Justin Fields himself is not necessarily much better. And you can look at his passing stats and yeah, they're a little bit better and his passing grades are a little bit better than they were at the beginning of the season. Couldn't be much worse. He was down at the very bottom of the league, but he has not like turned this great corner passing the ball or anything like that with all this. Just the scheme has just been much better for this team. So again, I'm on the Bears here. I just don't think that this thing gets outside of a field goal if the Bears don't win it outright.
I missed out on the 3.5, but I bet the Bears at 3. And I was comfortable still at that point. And Adam talked about, you know, being afraid to back this over-under situation with 2 rushing teams. And I think you should also be afraid to back a rushing offense to win by more than a field goal, the way they're the way they're set up like Atlanta. 29th in neutral pace, near the bottom of the league in passing over expected. So winning by 4 or more points for Atlanta is a big ask here. This is not the same as earlier in the year where we were backing them as a dog. And I think you should also be afraid to back a favorite that's a rushing team when the other rushing offense is better than yours over the past 5 weeks, because Chicago and Justin Fields running this kind of Cam Newton, Lamar Jackson type offense, they are now better than Atlanta by EPA and better rushing the ball too by EPA and success rate over the past 5 weeks. So all of this kind of lines up to take Chicago, I think, to cover 3 here. And just looking back at our power rankings this week, Matt, we both had Chicago ahead of Atlanta this week. So I think we're aligned here.
And I just to kind of put a bow on this is, yes, it's a road game for Chicago, but the way that this offense functions now and the way that they're kind of trying to operate, I think going indoors on turf is actually more beneficial to this Bears team than it is playing outdoors, where you're relying so much on the athleticism of Justin Fields and him being able to escape and do the different things like that. Like, I think if anything, it's a slight uptick for the Bears as opposed to a downtick. Marcus Mariota over the last 2 weeks, 5.6 and 6.2 yards per attempt, 31st in EPA per drop back over the last 2 weeks as well. Again, this offense, it was performing. We called it. The offense was performing way over its skis at the beginning of the year, and the regression did come back around for them. I do like the Bears in this one at 3.5. If you can find it, if you can't, no big deal. Go ahead and take the 3 out there. I think it'll be perfectly fine.